Yes, guys, and welcome back to We Are Tottenham TV with your boys Dave and Ashmatic, bringing you your pre-match build-up as we build up to the lunchtime kickoff, of course, as the greatest team in the world, Tottenham Hotspur, take on Everton. Big one today, big chance to sort of, really put our claws into top four, especially with Arsenal and Liverpool playing each other this weekend as well. Maybe a chance to make up some ground on those above us. Guys, make sure you smash that like button as we go along. Feel free, to get your talking points in as well. But Ash, how are you keeping, my man? What sort of game are we expecting today?
Yeah, I'm well, man. Thanks for asking. I hope you're good as well, my bro. Big up to the people in the comments. Big up to the people in the comments and the viewers listening in and watching wherever you are, guys. Big up, big up. Yes, today's game's an important one if we are to keep up that pressure and keeping the contention of that top four. I feel like if you're going for top four, you need to be in and amongst that kind of top three. Do you know what I mean? And then if you don't quite get it, that's when you get like the third or fourth position. So we need to have that similar mentality going into this game now. Positive for me is that Sarr is back. Sarr is back. Whether he starts or not, I don't know. But the fact that he's coming back into this squad, into this team, I think he's vital in the way we played. I think we missed him in terms of like stopping that, when they put that ball into the channel, which Everton I think will do. I feel like he's that one that's going to protect Porro. He's going to get back and he's going to help clean up. But interestingly enough, I've got a feeling now teams might no longer target our right side because I felt that that was a tactic. I think they might look at Udogie and think, oh, hang on a second. Defensively, he might have a mistake on him. And I've realized when we're in the build-up, sometimes we're a bit risky. Do you know what I mean? And we lose a lot of that possession in that beginning stage. I don't know what the statistics are for that, where we are in the table for teams that lose possession or get turned over in that area. But for me, it's very interesting to see that that's where we take a lot of risks. But in the final third, we don't take as much as risks, which is ironic in my opinion. So it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see if they target that left hand flank. But don't get it twisted. Like, Udogie's not a weakness, because 1v1, like, he's a demon. Like, you can't. Like, you saw what we did to Garnacho. We saw what we did to Saka. We saw what we did to like Salah. We see what like we've done to many players, top players. So I'm not saying that. Yeah, you know, they're gonna have a 1v1, and because Everton don't really have that player, so that's not that type of threat. But in terms of like switching the play, I remember when they were at our ground, that's what they were looking to do: switch the play quickly, hit the flanks, and then try to exploit that space when we're all the way up in their half. Obviously, we've got Van der Ven that's going to be able to mop up and clean up. But as you saw against Brentford, they still got in behind. Do you know what I mean? So I just feel like it's an issue at the moment, as much as we're going to have a lot of the ball, because Everton, I think, have less than 50% of the possession of the ball. I think like they're one of the third or second lowest team in terms of like possession on the ball. So this game will be tricky as always. Everton, I think the last time we got a result there, as in like got 3 points, was I think against the 6-2 drubbing. I think that was about 3 or 4 seasons ago. So we are due a win, to be fair, but at the same time, it's not an easy place to go up, and they're fighting for points. They're kind of in that relegation zone as well, so they're going to be fighting tooth and nail. Their fans are going to be up for it, but so are we. So are we. So are we. So,
Do you know what? On what you say about Udogie, I agree with you. Look, I'm not getting on the poor guy. I think he's been absolutely phenomenal this season. You know, he's locked up some of the best wingers that the Premier League control at him. He's been absolutely sensational. But I don't think it's just an Udogie problem with what you're talking about. Obviously, he got picked off against Brentford, and it's happened to him a couple of times this season. Man City almost picked him off at times as well, to be fair. I just think, you know, we sort of we start off fast, right? We're creating chances. Sometimes we take them, sometimes we don't. But then after that, it's almost like we think the game's too easy. We take our foot off the gas, you know, start sort of being a lot of very sort of complacent on the ball, 5-yard little passes here and there. And when we're not trying to penetrate teams, that's where the trouble comes in. It's almost like naivety. We take too much. I'm okay with the risks we take. You know, you're always going to have to take risks if you want to be able to play on the ball and play this possession-based game. I'm okay with that. I just think certain players in certain instances, like Udogie, knows when he loses the ball there, he's going to get picked off there straight in at our centre backs. You know, just be a little bit more smarter there, protect the ball a little bit more. I definitely agree with you on that. It's been a bugbear of mine. It's something I remember having conversations with you about Basuma doing something very, very similar earlier on in the season, slowing the play down and stuff like that. And that's where we end up getting caught. And it's happened time and time and time again this season. Now, obviously, I expect next season, going into next season, that to be ironed out and stuff like that, because that is something that bugs me, you know, especially against Brentford. Started off fast, started going out wide, using the ball, creating stuff. And then all of a sudden it just stopped. Everyone started thinking they were playing for Real Madrid, you know, little 5-yard passes here and there that don't actually do anything at all. It's really, really annoying in that regard. But again, with you, I agree. I do think, you know, today is going to be a tough test. It's a 12:30 kickoff. They're usually slow and sluggish and stuff like that. And you know, the game up against Everton, if I remember correctly, they outplayed us for large periods of the game, bombarded our box.
Yep.
We were lucky to get out there with the win. So it's not going to be an easy game today. And the lineups are out in the next 10 minutes, guys. So we'll bring them up as soon as they're out. But Ange Postecoglou did allude to changes, with it being 72 hours between the Brentford game Wednesday night and this game Saturday morning. Look, we'll start with Papa Matasari. He's the big one that everyone wants to talk about. Me personally, I want to see him start. I think he's been a huge miss in this midfield. I think he's the only one that sort of doesn't have that ego about him in that midfield, that, you know, to work hard. He's your workhorse in that midfield. He's that engine. He provides protection down the right-hand side to Porro, but also, you know, he turns over the ball in the opposition half an awful lot and is very sort of crucial on stopping these counters. Because I'd argue, Ash, when he's been out of the team, we've been countered way too frequently. When he's in the team, he nullifies them an awful lot. Do you think he starts today in that midfield? Because I want to see a midfield of Maddison, Bentancur, Sarr. Personally, I think that's our best midfield three in terms of balance and stuff like that going forward. Are we going to see that today, or do you think Højbjerg might get rewarded after his Zinedine Salzburg performance off the bench against Brentford.
Yeah, I feel like Sar's young enough to get that start because, you know, like sometimes you think off the back of a tournament, a player might need some rest. He came straight back, literally. And because I feel like he will want to get over that disappointment in the AFCON. They were favourites, of course. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that they're going to use this, or he's going to use this as fuel and motivation going into this game. Because, you know, when you have a bad game, you kind of just want to like rectify it more or less straight away. Like, in my opinion, like, you know, when you just, oh man, I could have done this, that. Oh, I wish I had another game to, and then lo and behold, there's another game. Do you know what I'm saying? You ain't got to wait a whole week to kind of like, like in my mind, I would have done this. He would have been like on the bench or wherever he was watching that game and thinking, like, what could I have done to impact that game? What would I have done if I was there? Do you know what I'm saying? And sometimes that's good when you're on the sidelines or when you're on a bench or you're watching at home, wherever you are watching, and you're just itching to get back. And I'm thinking like, right, he's not a man. He's not injured. He's not, you know, he's not fatigued or anything like that. I reckon he starts straight off the back. The manager clearly trusts him. I know like the stats about Kulusevski, how he runs so much, but I want to see the stats on Sarr because I'm pretty sure that Sarr's not far behind him in terms of legs. Do you know what I'm saying? You've seen how long his legs are, like antelopes. You know what I'm saying? He literally takes one step and he's halfway up the pitch.
Do you know what it is for me though, as well, Ash? You have to want to do it, right? We know playing football ourselves and stuff like that. You've got flair players who are probably a bit more lazier, sort of, you know, in terms of hunting the ball and stuff like that. But with Papamata Sarr, he does it because he wants to. I feel like when I look at some others, they don't really want to do that side of the game, whereas I actually think he enjoys it.
I think Sarr has got football IQ and people just don't see it. That's what it is. I think his positional awareness, where to be on the pitch, just in case the ball gets turned over, he's not only got the athleticism and dynamism to get back, but he's also like aware that, okay, this ball might break in this particular area, so I need to be here as soon as possible, or I need to position myself in it. So I think that's what people are sleeping on: his positional awareness, his football IQ, his spatial awareness, what's around him, and then also how he plays with his head up. Like, he plays with his head up. So when the ball comes to him in tight spaces, he's really instinctive where he doesn't have to think about it too much. And I think that's the difference between him and Skip or him and a Højbjerg. Højbjerg might have to process what's around him, what's going on, can't look over his shoulder. But I feel like with Sarr, he might scan the pitch a little bit better, have an idea of what he wants to do with it, and then he's able to execute that and make the best decision, because football's about decision making. And I feel like he just does it naturally, and he's able to kind of move that ball through carries or just literally finding a player through a short pass, medium pass. Do you know what I'm saying? So like, I think that's what you get with a Sarr, and that's what's so vital. Again, as you said, winning that ball up, winning that ball back in the final third stops them from counter-attacking, and that's what we need from Sarr. So like, yeah, I just want to see him getting in the box because he can shoot. I think the biggest part of our problem in that last game was especially in that first half, we were getting into positions, but we weren't shooting. So, for example, Kulusevski on that right-hand side, he would come on the ball, but he wanted it on his left. You know that one that was offside when the ball got played into him? And it was like, oh, Johnson should be there. You know what I'm saying? He's actually got on the ball. He's beating that man. He's running towards goal, but he wants to get it on his left as opposed to hitting it on his right. Then I saw that before. He picking up good positions, getting that ball. Instead of striking it with his left, he wants to put it on his right. And then by then, it's too late. You're like, oh, my brother, if you just hit it, man, because he's got a right. Like, it's mad frustrating. It's not like he ain't got a right. Like, the brother's got a right for it, but he just doesn't himself like to hit it sometimes. Mad things. He wants to put it on his left all the time.
Do you know what? It's coming frustrating. Just with him, just with Papamata Sarr quickly. You know, he has that maturity to his game for such a young guy. You know, I absolutely love the guy, and I think he's a lot better technically and going forward than people actually give him credit for as well. That's why I think he's perfect in that midfield. Moondog says, hit the like and the subscribe button. Big up, Moondog, my man. Hopefully you're keeping well. Please let me know who you've gone for first goal scorer today, and hopefully you and Charlie are ready for the game, big man. Good to see you in the building. You know what, Ash? With Kulu, though, I find him very, very frustrating. Look, the out of possession works incredibly hard for the team. No problem at all. Can never, ever accuse him of anything like that. On the ball, I think he's been very underwhelming sort of over the last period. For me, when something was heading off, I was really looking at Kulu to be that guy in the forward there to step up in terms of the creativity. And it's just not there. And I'm trying to work out whether he wants to do it or whether he's just out of form. Because anytime that ball went out to him against Brentford, it's just he didn't really want to sort of create, attacking players and wingers, Ash, when you get the ball to them, they want to try things all the time. With Kulu, I just don't get that feeling that he does at times. I think he just wants to, a lot of times lately, he's just cutting inside, playing the safe option. And it's a shame because someone like him, he's very good on the ball, technically skillful. Use that sort of body to your advantage, the way Harry Kane used to do it. Get the ball in, hold it up, pin your man and create that sort of half a yard for yourself either way, whether it is coming inside or going on the outside. He's just very sort of underwhelming at the moment. But saying that, from the right-hand side, he does, in general, sort of create a lot of chances from there this season, although maybe not having the sort of assist to go with it. And I'd argue some of the sitters he's laying on the plate, if they were taken, probably be having different conversations around Kulusevski. The lineups will be out in 3 minutes. Just quickly, big up Leighton Evelyn. Good to see you, sir. And also, Bob Down Under. Hopefully, you're keeping well, my man. Hopefully, you're keeping well. No vanilla slice for me today. But We Are Tottenham TV are probably giving us some early team news here. I want to know how they know. I want to know how they found out. But he says, Brennan Johnson, Timo Matters, and Richie all to start. If this is the case, very, very interesting. Brennan Johnson, if he comes in, Ash, do you think he deserves that start after the impact he made against Brentford? Because I'm going to be a bit controversial here, right? He scored the goal, and credit to the guy. He needed that, especially with people like me and maybe some others sort of questioning him a little. He really needed that. And I'd argue if Kulu was playing right wing, he wouldn't have made up the ground to be in that position to tap it home. However, today, with it being a tight pitch, you are looking for your technical sort of players. And I don't think we can use Brennan Johnson's best attributes, which is putting the ball in behind, exploiting that space. I don't think that's going to be there today. If Johnson does start, how do you think he gets on?
It goes back to the point you were making before, right? Because sometimes when teams like to sit back or they like to be in a low block, slowing down the game or playing those little intricate passes, the little 1-2s, the short passes, that's to actually draw the opposition out. So when we play out from the back sometimes, we want Everton to come onto us and press us. And then that's when the space is in behind. And so I feel like that is done deliberately at times. And that allows like your Brennan Johnsons or your Werners to get in behind. And if they don't come onto us, and maybe one or two try to get the ball off of us, then it opens up gaps in that midfield. And then you get like your Madison's on the ball. And if Madison's got space in between the lines, it makes it easier for him to pick out your front three, if that makes sense. So there's so many things and little patterns of play that are going on, which we're not privy to, that I'm just like, I don't know. I'm guessing. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I'm not saying this is right. I'm just putting one-on-one and getting free, bro. Like real talk. But more time I'm thinking, no, you're right. Like I thought the reason why they took him off was to kind of like, look, maybe you need a breather. Like it's not quite working for whatever reason. People getting onto social media, blah, blah, blah. Let's take the kid off, give him a break, bring him on. And I thought when he scored, it'd be interesting to see if he starts, because I'm thinking confidence. Because a lot of these players at his age as well, 22, everyone says, oh, don't talk about his age, blah, blah, blah. It's excuses, da, 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 da. He played a whole season of Premiership football. I get that. But at the end of the day, he's a human being. Simple, straight. And everyone, if things are going against you and you get a little knock, you start to doubt yourself. You start to play within yourself. And I think that's the case with the whole of the front three. I think Werner, sometimes he's just come back from that horrible Premiership stint with Chelsea. Like he didn't want to come back to Prem, but I think Ange managed to convince him to come back. You've got Richie. He had the big price tag on his back. He's playing within himself. He thinks he owes it to the fans. He's all crying on social media and stuff, blah, blah, blah. Mental health, he's screaming. So, and I'm not trying to make that excuse. I'm just trying to explain. When I see Johnson, I know he's got the ability to beat a man, but he's not doing it for whatever reason. There he is on the starting lineup. we go. So you're right. Højbjerg starts. Jeez, go for it. Sorry.
Yeah, no, just quickly, I'm cutting across you, Ash. No need to apologise, my man. Vicario is in goals, and hopefully we keep a clean sheet today. We're on a run of 13 games without a clean sheet, and it was the catalyst that sent us towards 10 games unbeaten in the first half of the season. So hopefully he can keep one today. Pedro Porro comes in at right back with Udogie in at left back, so no changes there with Romero and Van Ven, which I sort of respected across the back line, especially needing to get back to keeping clean sheets. The reason why we haven't is because we've had so much disruption with injuries and stuff there and changing personnel. Into the midfield, it's Højbjerg, Bentancur, and Madison. And interestingly enough, looks like Højbjerg is playing a deeper position and Bentancur comes into that sort of 8 role. One thing I was impressed with him under Conte at times was his work rate out possession, willing to chase things down and stuff like that. So it'll be very interesting to see whether he affects the game a lot more in a more forward position than he does the deeper, with Johnson, Richarlison, and Werner all starting as your front three. And then we have Fraser Forrester, Emerson Royal, Dragusin, Davies, Skip, Sarr, Kulu, Brian Hill, and Scarlett on the bench. Interestingly enough, Kulu being dropped. So the boys, and we need to know where We Are Tottenham TV got that inside info. But Kulu dropped. And Johnson and Højbjerg rewarded off the bench from their game against Brentford. Interesting. We'll go and get Ash's thoughts. Just give me 1 second. Ridge says, love to Big Ange. I am from Australia and I've found my Prem club to support. Thanks to Ange Postecoglou. No, thank you to Australia, for getting his managerial career up and running. And we've benefited from it. I think he's an absolute brilliant manager. I watched him for 2 years at Celtic, and I thought he was absolutely unbelievable in terms of what he done there, how he managed to sort of galvanise the club, and get them back going in the right direction, because at the time you'd argue maybe it was starting to fall, the wheels were starting to fall off a little bit, Rangers maybe closing in on them and stuff like that. But then Postecoglou came in and just absolutely sort of buried Rangers again, which was absolutely brilliant. And he's been magnificent for Tottenham Hotspur. We've got the right recruitment with the right manager, and we're at the point now where, because of the way he works and the way he plays, absolutely everybody wants to come and join us. So hopefully we can capitalize on that, Ridge. But welcome to the Spurs fan base, my man. And hopefully you enjoy yourself being in here. We've got a lot of crazy fans like myself and stuff like that. So hopefully you do enjoy us. Ash, what do you make of the lineup? I mean, Postecoglou's dropped Kulu out of the lineup, no problem at all. Thoughts on lineup in general?
Yeah, it's very interesting. He's gone for the Højbjerg in a 6th position, and I think that was what worked for him in terms of when he made that substitution in the second half, allowing 2 attacking 8s to kind of roam forward. But yeah, I expect Bentancur to be a lot more forward in this game and to affect the game in those pockets of spaces where he wins the ball high up. He did that under Conte, as you said already, and I thought he was really effective in that double pivot between him and Højbjerg. So defensively, we're going to show that we've got a bit of steel with him being there. And going forward, I expect him to produce some of the work that he did against Manchester United at Old Trafford away. So I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at the midfield. I do understand why Højbjerg is there. Did want to see Sarr in from the start, but bringing on Sarr, I'm not mad at it, because then that brings you extra energy, extra legs when they start to tire. Because I think how Ange wants to play, as we know the saying goes, we never stop. But when he says we never stop, I know people think that as in terms of mentality, but I personally think he wants the ball to not stop. He wants the players to not stop moving. He says, like, if you haven't got the ball, you need to think, where am I going to be next? How can I impact the game? Do you know what I'm saying? And that's what he means by we don't stop, we never stop. Do you know what I'm saying? So bad boy for life. But yeah, for me, I think bringing on a Johnson, as I was saying before, because maybe he's got that confidence, I think he's trying to see if he can, I don't know, if he can carry on that kind of form, if he can start to take shots, because with Johnson, that's the weakness, I think, at the moment. We're not seeing him shoot enough in that particular zone where when he gets on the ball, he's always looking to cross. He's not running across as much.
Same with Kulu as well, Ash. Not shooting enough when he gets in the position.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. But for me, like, when you're 1v1 and you're spacing behind, I want him to run across his defender, a bit like Werner as well. He's had a similar situation. It was him versus Kyle Walker, and in what I get, we had the ball, the space was in behind. He picked it up, he started running, but he ran straight instead of running towards the goal. And then Kyle Walker was able to use his hand to kind of just, you know, slow his run down and then cut across him. Where if he's confident, he's going to cut across Walker, and Walker then has to foul him. So that's what I want to see from my wing forwards. If there's space in behind, I want to see them pick up the ball, run across their fullbacks, and then have a shot. Do you know what I'm saying? If it goes in, it goes in. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But at least have the attempt, at least have that bravery, because that's what Ange is about. He wants his team to be brave. And if they're not being brave, then like get them off, in my opinion. Because if we're not taking shots, how are you going to win the game? You need to have those shot creation actions, because you never know. At the end of the day, it might take a ricochet. Someone might parry it. Richarlison's in the box. He might score. I like the fact that when Werner was in that Brentford game, he went across, beat his man. He crossed it, and then saw Johnson. He actually picked his head up, saw Johnson putting his hand up. Hey, like, yo. And then he whipped it across, flat across the box. And then Johnson was there to tap it in. Now, people will say, oh, look, that's an easy tap in for Johnson. But that is, for me, what we call patterns of play. Like, they've practiced that on the training ground. When you get in this area, get your head up. And sometimes what frustrates me is when the wingers are running down and they don't get their head up. And that's what Johnson's been guilty of sometimes. Because if you don't get your head up, then you can't do the cutback. You don't know whether to put it in the air or put it on the floor. You need to run and then slow it down a little bit just before you deliver, and then take your, whatever it is you're going to do, your action. You're going to cross it, you're going to cut it back, you're going to put it across the box, blah, blah, blah.
Do you know what? The problem we've got is both of our right wingers are out of form. Let's, being brutally honest about. And it's sort of like, it's a tough one for Ange today, because you've got Brennan Johnson, and I think you're right. That's off the training ground, that goal. And at the end of the day, he was there for it. But all-round play in terms of creativity has been piss poor. Kulu, his form has dropped off a cliff. So it's hard to know what, if you're Ange Postecoglou, what to do in this situation. Obviously, he's given Brennan Johnson a nod. But for me today, off the back of his goal, Ash, he really needs to step up in terms of the creativity department. You look at Richarlison. With him, you have to provide him the opportunities. He's not like Harry Kane, where he can assist and score goals. Richarlison is a goal scorer. And where everyone's been frustrated with Johnson is that he hasn't been able to create chances for Richarlison. So for me, that's the big test of Brennan Johnson today. It's a tight pitch against Everton. Goodison Park is tight. Not going to be a lot of room. His final pass, his delivery is going to have to be absolutely spot on. And that's where ultimately stuff down a hell of a lot. So that's what I'm looking at for him today. Can he provide for people? Because that's been his big problem. I do fear going into this game. I know Werner got a couple of assists against Brentford, but their assists when he's clean through. He's clean through. Is he going to get that opportunity against Everton today? I sort of worry about the creativity and putting chances on the plate for Richarlison. I just hope that Maddison and Bentancur give us that different dynamic through the middle, that even if Johnson and Werner aren't doing it, we've got enough in Werner and Bentancur getting forward to be able to sort of supply Richie. Kulusevski, look, I was going to, me personally, I would have started him today, and if he didn't do well, I would have hauled him off after 50, 55 minutes and benched him. But I'm okay with him being on the bench. He has to produce a lot more. He's not a kid anymore. He's a man. He's been around here for a while now. He needs to start stepping up. He needs to be a lot better going forward. But what I will say is it is a very, very fast sort of dynamic forward line, and let's see, whether we can exploit Everton's back line in that sort of regard. But I do worry about the creativity from out wide today, and hopefully Johnson and Werner can shut me up. In terms of midfield, very, very interesting. Postecoglou has done here. Me personally, I would have rather preferred Papa Massar, but I can understand why he started Zinedine Salzburg, and he's starting in the deeper role. Because look, the number 8 role does not suit me. Doesn't have the energy or the legs. So be interesting to see whether Bentancur is the answer to that solution going forward. But that is your lineup for Tottenham Hotspur. I'll go and get the Everton one in just one moment. Jason Green says, confident of a win today. Come on, you Spurs, big up. Look, I want to win. Do you know what makes me not confident, Jason, is the fact that it's 12:30. If this was 3 o'clock, I would say, yeah, I think we go on and beat them. But the fact that it's 12:30 and 12:30 kickoffs don't usually produce a lot of goals and stuff, and it's away from home, it just makes me a little bit nervous. The last 12:30 kickoff we played was Wolves back in November, and we ended up losing that game. So that's the only thing that makes me nervous about this game is the kickoff time match.
My brother, also that off pink, soft brown, I don't know what color it is, kit. Like since we played in that kit, we've just like, I don't know if they find it hard to see each other or what, but we've had the 1-1, 3-3, the 1-1 again. Like it's just not cooking in that kit. Like so when I saw that kit, I was like, but like you said, 12:30, it's like we haven't quite woken up yet. And it's a bit mad. But you know what? Going back to your point, and you're looking at the wingers, I'm also looking at the fullbacks because the fullbacks are key to the system. So it depends on what type of Udogie we get. Because when Udogie is ready, he opens his legs up and he starts running with the ball and his head's up. It's like they have to foul him. They have to foul him. If not, he's just going to create havoc. Do you know what I'm saying? And so give that man the ball. His underlapping runs just cause teams to panic. They don't know what to do. And it's just whether he can deliver a ball in an attacking position, which is a threat to them. Because sometimes I feel like his final ball can let him down. But when he's in that form, I remember against Bournemouth, he was doing the little cutbacks. He was getting to the byline and stuff. So he has got that in him. He's started to score a couple goals as well now. So I'm hoping he's looking at that side of this game and he's bringing that to Everton, because then he's going to be a handful for them. So Porro didn't play as well as he normally does in terms of like passing, assists, etc. I know even against Man City that his free kicks were a little bit off as well, his set pieces and stuff. But I'm hoping against Everton, set piece wise, at least he can bring his A game, because that's another part of our game that teams find really hard to defend against. I know Everton are aerially dominant, but at the same time, we've been quite good on set pieces. So I'm hoping that he can come in. Also, his switches of play, that kind of diagonal cross he does as well. Richie will look to be on the end of those. And if someone's going to find a Richarlison, it's going to be him. And he kind of provides that width as well, that final ball cross. Like, yeah, I just think, our fullbacks are important as well.
Been disappointed with Porro the last 2 games, lad. I thought his sort of final end product has been, off. It's been over hitting stuff like that, especially from in play. Maybe not set pieces, but in play. And I just feel like Porro, for me, he's at that stage where he needs to be doing it week in, week out. He's got that ability, and that's the next step he needs to take in order to probably become world class. But here is the Everton lineup. Jordan Pickford in goals. Mikalenko at left back, with Braithwaite and Tarkowski forming the centre-back partnerships. It's interesting. It'd be interesting to know whether Everton go back 5 here with Godfrey and Young forming the rest of the defence, or whether one of them moves into midfield. Because I know Everton's centre midfield has been absolutely decimated. You've got Ghana in there, who's just returned from injury, along with Garner. But, of course, they had Onana and Decore out as well. So the midfield is decimated with McNeil, Harrison, and Calvert-Lewin up front. Look, for me, that Everton team is sort of, I'm not going to say it's simple because, but we know how they're going to play, right? They're going to look to get the ball to Harrison and McNeil, especially McNeil, and look for him to whip it in and get Calvert-Lewin free in that box. So for me, it's sort of very easy to sort of know the way Everton are going to approach this. Now it's just about stopping it and being absolutely lethal in possession. But look, let's make no bones about it. This is an Everton team that are missing their captain in Seamus Coleman. They're missing their best midfielders in Onana and Decore, who are huge from them from set pieces as well as open play. So, it is a fairly sort of weakened Everton team, Ash. We should be putting these to the sword. No excuses there, right?
Yeah, I mean, their form's been really poor since we beat them, in fact. I think they've only got 1 win since we beat them. And so, yeah, they're not in form. You're right. We need to take advantage of that. Onana, I wasn't really impressed with him when we played him. I thought when Gomez came on, I thought he changed the game. He controlled the midfield much better. He was able to get on the ball and then look after it and then get his head up and then pick out the likes of Garner. I thought Garner was tidy on the ball. I thought he caused us a lot of troubles. I think he hit the post. He was in and around an attacking midfield position. In this game, I think he'll play slightly deeper, so he may not affect us on the ball. I think off the ball, they're going to be a 5-4-1. I think Ashley Young will sit back, as you were saying, become like a left wing back.
Do
And
you
then
think that is the plan there today?
I think off the ball, they're going to sit.
Do you think it is a back five?
I know. I think in possession it's a 4, but out of possession, I think it's a 5. I think they're flexible. So I think, yeah, you're right. It's going to be a back 5. When we're going against them, we're going to see that a lot. So it's going to look like a 5. But I think when they try to counter us, it's going to quickly or when they've got possession, it will slowly turn into a 4-4-1, 4-4-1-1. Yeah, because I think Harrison will play just behind Calvert-Lewin, trying to like be in those kind of areas where they're in between, our midfield and our centre backs, trying to cause havoc. I think Gay coming in, just Gay, Ghana Gay, whatever his name is. He's going to be the defensive midfielder. He's going to be the one trying to win that ball back, be solid. Again, I wasn't too impressed with him when we played against him. I don't think he was really standing up against our team. And he hasn't been a mainstay in their team, in my opinion, in this season. But I expect Chavorsky, I think he's a good centre back. I think when he gets on the ball, he's going to try and switch the play. He did it at Burnley. He's a trusted player that Sean Dyche knows inside out. And I think he's going to be the one to hit like your McNeils on the wing or your Harrisons that might pull out wide to receive that ball. Because that's what I expect. I think Harrison will pull out towards the right and then McNeil will pull out towards the left. And that's where the danger is. But if we've done our homework, like you said, it should be easy to pinpoint where that ball's going to be and whose job and whose responsibility that is to kind of look after them. Ashley Young can be a bit of a problem too. I know he's a bit of an old boy. People think he's past it. Say again?
He still can put in performances though, Ashley.
That's what I'm saying to you. That's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. A lot of people will write him off, but I'm not. Ashley Young, I think he might be one of those players that might get on our nerves. Like he might start causing us trouble and problems. He can still whip a ball in, he can cross it. He's got like good technique in terms of like finding players. He won't lose it, that's for sure. But it's just whether he can last the whole length of the game, like if he doesn't tire throughout the game, and that's what we can exploit. And I'm hoping that someone like a Udogie could run him ragged. You know what I'm saying? I think he might end up on that right hand side and try to invert a little bit, but I think that's the way we're in. Braithwaite, I like him. He's tall, he's strong, he's physical, he's quite quick. We were linked with him before, and the partner on the left back, the Russian kid, I can't say his name, Mivolenko. Ukrainian. Sorry, Ukrainian. My apologies. Yeah. He gets up and down. He can be a threat as well. He can be a problem. But apart from that, yeah, he does score goals. He does. He's quite up the pitch. He gets quite up the pitch. But yeah, apart from that, like obviously as a team, I think Dyche will set them up to be really solid and keep their team super narrow. So because they're so narrow, again, it's going to be hard for us to kind of find that pass. We're going to get frustrated at times, and then they're going to force us out wide. We're going to try to cross it in the box, and then boop, they're going to be able to header it because they've got two tall centre backs to deal with that. Pickford, he's not the tallest, but he's not bad in terms of catching that ball. So it's going to be a frustrating one at times. But I think personally, the way to draw them out is sometimes slow the game down, let them come onto us, and then that space opens up, and then we attack them. Or like I said before, when we're playing out from the back and they come and they try to high press us, that's when the space is in behind. That's when you try to look for your Johnsons and your Werners, and then we try to create damage. And it's just down to Richie. Funny enough, I thought Richie, even though like as a footballer, he's not everyone's favorite, but I like the fact that he was having a go. He was taking shots outside, like not outside the box, but like like quite far out for him.
Like Harry Kane against Brentford.
Yeah, it was like you weren't thinking about it. He was like free for once. I was like, this is the Richie I want to see, because that goal goes in, everyone's going mental, and then he's going to have another bit of confidence. And then I'm hoping that we see more of the Everton Richarlison than we see than the Spurs Richarlison at the moment. At the moment, he's doing, like I said, the patterns of play. He's in the right place at the right time. He's tapping it in. But I want to see a Richarlison like on the shoulder, running at them, shooting, being like free-minded, just being a nuisance that I know he can be. I know he's dangerous in the air, but I just don't feel like we've seen the R9 that, you know, that we went to buy. We put all that money on. We're seeing a different type of Richarlison. So against his former club, I'm hoping that he picks it up. He did it obviously in the last fixture when we played them, and he didn't celebrate because he's got respect for them.
Well, he went to. I think he remembered who he was playing against, and he stopped.
Yeah. But I'm hoping that, you know, he's going to feel a bit more comfortable because he's going to his old stomping ground, and that familiarity helps him out. The fans are going to respect him, show him love, and he's going to need that in this game. Do you know what I mean? For us to push forward, because this is every game now is a big game. Before I'm looking at this lead up to Chelsea, and now the games before Chelsea, I think are must-win games, because after that we've got a hectic April. April for me is hectic, and we need to pick up as many 3 points as possible. So yeah, today is going to be massive if we do win. But who knows, bro? It's not going to be easy.
I don't think this game is going to be easy. I think it's going to be a tight affair. I think. Look, I'm still trying to work out whether they're going to play Godfrey or Young in midfield as a needs must because they don't have the options there, or whether it will be a 5 across the back. I'd look at it. I think it might be the 5 across the back, certainly out of possession, which is going to take a while to break down. But for me, I think the fast start here is absolutely imperative. If we can start fast and nick an early goal, it forces Everton to change their game plan sort of very early on. If it becomes effective, the longer the game goes on, the more frustrating it's going to be. And they might be able to pick us off from a set piece or something like that, which we've had huge problems with. And one thing they're going to do is, every club has done it since they've done it, whip it in on top of the keeper and send the big man barreling into the 6-yard box. And City done it, got joy out of it. Brentford done it, nearly got joy. So that's something that's going to happen. For me, I think it's going to be a long, frustrating afternoon. Away at Goodison Park over recent years, it has been. Under Conte, one of his first games, I think we ended up winning 1-0 on the day. Long, frustrating day. Missed a lot of chances. You know, under Jose Mourinho, went up there in the cup, got turned over and stuff like that. You know, it can be a difficult place to go to, sort of Goodison Park. But for me, this is where I want to see us at our best. What we purposely do is we start games fast and try and catch teams cold. There's no better opportunity to put it into effect than the half-12 kickoff. But if we do go 1-up, I want to see us go for the kill. I don't want to see us be relentless. I don't want to see us take our foot off the gas. One thing we cannot afford to do is do what we've done against Brentford. Oh, we're not cutting them open. Let's resort to 5-yard balls and playing through the middle into a concrete wall. I want to see them, if it's not going well, I want to see them keep probing and probing and trying balls from different angles, trying balls from, attacks from different sort of areas of the pitch. Don't fall into the trap like we did against Brentford last week, because it was very, very effective. And me personally, I think that's exactly what Sean Dyche is going to try and set up today. Block up that middle, look to catch Udogie or one of our midfielders on the ball. As soon as you get that, wingers burst forward, Calvert-Lewin get into the box and try and catch Tottenham on the counter. So the warning signs are there. West Ham got away with it. They ended up picking us off going to win the game. Brentford picked us off early, but only that moped on the dart celebration, it inspired us into life. Do not get caught with it today, Tottenham, because if we do, the more teams we're going to see do this to us going forward. We have to find an answer to it today, put everything to the sword, so that managers have to think of a different way of stifling Tottenham going forward. But look, we do have to end off because I do have to get over and get my watch along underway. But Ash, my man, wrong thing. Ash, my man, big yourself up. Really do appreciate your time today. Been a great discussion. I always love sitting here sort of talking football with you, my man. Where can people find you?
Yeah, so we've been going for a little change at the moment, and we're going for a little bit of a Yeah, you got it, man. So we're now Spurs Kings TV. Obviously, I didn't change it, or it's gone to automatic self-equal. So that's what we were called. But now we are now Spurs Kings TV. So if you want to catch me, I'm on my show every Tuesday. I'm doing a show, but we're doing a post-match reaction as well. So if you want to see that, come check us out. There's the link below in the description. It's in the chat. So guys, please subscribe to me. We've got like many guests coming on as well. We've had Dave on, who's an amazing guest before, just having, you know, great talks about football in general. But yeah, guys, if you like what I say, just come in and like to subscribe, and also like and subscribe to Dave's channel, Irish Hotspur 2 as well. Thanks for having me on again, boys. We are Tottenham TV. Like and subscribe. Big yourselves up, man. Every time. Big up to your people in the comments as well. I've seen you. I can see you.
No, man, there's been a lot of love for both of us in the comments today, which is strange. Usually I get a lot of hate, so it makes a change, Ash. But you know, it's probably because I'm on screen with you, my man. They probably find it hard not to hate you and stuff like that. They absolutely love you. But guys, Ash Matic, he's here nearly every single pre-match build-up. You know, and he does a lot for We Are Tottenham TV in terms of watch-alongs, debate shows, and stuff like that, which, by the way, he finally broke his talked with Barnaby in the studio there the other day. Finally got a win under their belt. But, guys, please get over to Southview, guys. Show Ash Matic a lot of love. He's a brilliant guy, very nice guy as well, you know, and great at talking about football. So make sure you get over there and show him the love. And then if you want and you've got enough time left, you know, get over and show me a bit of love if that's what you want to do. But look, guys, we will end it off there because I know the boys will want to get their watch along up and running as well. So, guys, have a great day. Hopefully, we get the win. Come on, you Spurs. In the mighty hands we trust. We never stop. Let's go.
Come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Spurs.